Call be vitiated.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I have 5 requests for committees to meet today during today's session of the Senate. They have the approval of the majority and minority leaders.
So noted.
Mr. President, I ask for consent to use the time that I may require in the following my remarks that Senator Cassidy and Senator Murphy be recognized.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I come to the floor to speak on 2 matters. The first is the matter of wildfires in Tennessee. Anybody who's been watching television the last few days have seen the devastation caused by the runaway wildfires just outside the Great Smoky Mountains in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Mr. President, in Tennessee, we're not used to that. I know that we have debates on the floor, and we have colleagues who see the fires in the West where it doesn't rain much, a few inches of rain a year, but in the Great Smoky Mountains where I live, or I live just outside of it, we have 80, 83 inches of rain a year. So we have dense forests, and this time of year the leaves are all over the ground, and usually there's a lot of rain to tamp that down. But for the last 3 months, we've not had rain. And so the forest floor is just like a tinderbox. And on Monday, in the chimney tops area of the Great Smoky Mountain Park, fire somehow started. Maybe it was a campfire. And then winds of 80 to 90 miles an hour came and swept the fire through the park and into the resort town of Gatlinburg and burned up half the town. There were stories of firefighters getting back in their trucks to avoid the bears who were fleeing the fire. There were stories of cars catching fire as motorists drove to escape the fire. And a couple from Alabama said that they watched their windshield wipers melt on the car as they drove down the mountain. At least 4 people have been killed. There are others who are missing. Fortunately, the fires have been put out pretty much by now. There were no fire outbreaks that were new in Pigeon Forge, which is nearby. Gatlinburg had some more, but the rain that fell last night helped put most of those out. But 14,000 citizens were evacuated from that small town of Gatlinburg, a picturesque community on the edge of the Smokies where people for years have gone for their honeymoons and their vacations. Red Cross operated 6 facilities. The mayor of Gatlinburg told people his home was burned up in 15 minutes. City manager's home was burned up. We have a tremendous response from the governor of our state, Governor Haslam, who was on the spot the next day with many of his state officials. There are 400 firefighters. There are more than 100 fire trucks who came from all parts of East Tennessee, National Guardsmen, highway patrolmen. The governor said that we hadn't seen a fire like that in Tennessee in 100 years. Half of the 10 square miles of the city of Gatlinburg has been burned up. As I said, 14,000 have been evacuated. So this is a heartbreaking story for all of us who know and love the Great Smoky Mountains and the people who live near there. And I want the residents of Sevier County and Gatlinburg in that area to know that Senator Corker and I and all of us in the federal delegation will do whatever we can appropriately do to help. That starts with helping pay for 75% of the cost of fighting the fires. And after that, cooperating with Governor Haslam as the state looks for ways to help individuals who might be hurt by this. I know that the mayor of Gatlinburg and the city manager and Larry Waters, the county mayor, would want me to say that this is a resilient town and resilient people, and they're going to be fine. But it's going to be tough and hard. Fire always is. But Dollywood will be open at 2 p.m. on Friday. People will be coming back. 2 million visitors come every year. So we don't want people to stay away. But I do want the people of Gatlinburg and Sevier County to know how much we care for them and how determined we are to help themselves get back on their feet. Now, Mr. President, The second subject I want to talk about